Welcome, dear friends, to Tales from Grandma. Let's begin today's adventure.
Thomas loved a good laugh. He was known as the best prankster at Northwood School, an old place built many years ago with big stone walls and wooden floors. The fire alarm was a large brass bell. You had to pull a handle to make it ring loud and clear. It made a scary, clanging sound that got everyone's attention. Thomas pulled it the first time during a very boring history lesson. "Fire!" he yelled, adding to the fun. Everyone jumped up. Students rushed outside, pushing and shoving a little. It was exciting. Thomas felt a little thrill in his stomach. But then Mr. Harrison, the head teacher, found out it was just a joke. Thomas got a stern telling off, but he still thought it was very funny. About a month later, Thomas did it again. This time, people were not as scared. They walked out slowly, already knowing it might be him. Some students even grumbled, "Oh, it's just Thomas again." Thomas thought it was even funnier that they knew it was him, but still had to follow the rules and leave the building. Soon, the whole school got used to Thomas's fire alarms. If the bell rang and it wasn't a planned fire drill day, everyone just looked at Thomas. They would walk out slowly, chatting with their friends, not worried at all. They would take their time, sometimes even rolling their eyes. One sunny afternoon, after a lively game of football, Thomas went to the changing room. It was an old room, with wooden benches, pegs for clothes, and a faint smell of old gym shoes. As he was changing, he sniffed. Something was different. He looked around. Near one of the old wooden benches, right by the wall, he saw a small flicker. A tiny orange tongue of flame, no bigger than his thumb. It was shy at first, but then it seemed to grow bolder, catching a loose piece of wood. It was growing. Thomas's heart began to beat fast like a drum. This was real. This wasn't a joke. "Fire! Real fire!" he screamed at the top of his lungs. Thomas felt a cold shiver run down his spine. They didn't believe him. He darted towards the big brass fire alarm. He reached for the handle, but Mr. Harrison was quicker. He gently but firmly grabbed Thomas's arm. He cried, struggling against the teacher's grip.
"Please, Mr. Harrison, we need to do something."
He pulled away from Mr. Harrison's grasp with all his might and sprinted back towards the changing room. He grabbed a metal cleaning bucket from the corner, filled it with water from the sink, and ran back. The bucket felt heavy in his small hands. Thomas, a small boy, lifted the heavy bucket and threw the water onto the fire. Sizzle! The flames went down a little, hissing loudly, but then they leaped up again, even stronger, as if laughing at his small effort. The fire seemed angry and hungry. It ate at the old wood greedily. Just then, a huge plume of thick, dark smoke billowed out from the changing room doors, swirling into the corridor. The heat hit everyone like a sudden scorching wave. Mr. Harrison, seeing the thick black smoke and feeling the heat, finally understood. He rushed to the big brass alarm and pulled the handle hard. The loud, clanging sound echoed through the school, but this time, it meant something truly scary. It wasn't a joke anymore. Students and teachers screamed. They ran towards the exits, real fear on their faces. By the time the firefighters arrived, with their big red trucks and loud sirens, it was too late for the changing room. The old wooden structure was completely burned down. The roof had caved in, leaving a big, gaping hole. Everyone stood outside, watching the sad sight. Thomas watched too, his heart heavy and aching. He had learned a terrible lesson. His pranks had stopped people from believing him when it truly mattered. He looked at the ruined changing room, then at Mr. Harrison's sad, tired face. He knew he would never play a prank with the fire alarm again. Trust was a precious thing, like a fragile glass, and he had broken it. He knew he had to earn it back, one truthful word at a time, for the rest of his life.
And that's it for today's story. See you in the next one.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.